Hi there, y'all. Thank you again for coming to my channel and visiting me. It is that time of the month where I get to talk about all of the books that I read in the month of November, so I am very excited. I feel like I didn't read as much as I wanted to because this is actually my birthday month and Thanksgiving month, so I had a few chunks of days where I wasn't able to read at all, which is not like me, but I still managed to read a lot, so I think we're okay. But so one of the videos I made this month was a random number generator picks how many pages I read every day, and for that I read 3 books, and so I'm going to talk about those real fast. So first I have A Bond of Broken Glass by T.A. Lawrence. I thought I lost this because I had to look for it before I started the video and I was so worried. I was like, oh my gosh, I lost it, because I keep on showing everyone like, oh my gosh, you need to read this, you need to read this, you need to read this, because I loved this book. I gave it 4.5 stars. It is the 3rd book in the Severed Realms series, and I just highly recommend the series. It's just so good. It's so intriguing, and it has like a lot of really cool adult elements, but there's nothing like spicy in it, and so I feel like it's a good one if you don't want to read any books with spice in them, if that makes you uncomfortable. So I just really recommend this series. It's a great fantasy series altogether. But plot-wise, so this book is it's a Cinderella retelling. The book opens up, the prologue is from the perspective of this parasitic magic. In this universe, magic is almost like a being that lives inside you and has like little inner monologues with you, which is really fun. But there's one magic that's kind of evil and parasitic, and when the story opens up, it possesses this girl and makes her super beautiful, makes her steal this beautiful gown and these awesome glass slippers from the local glass blower, and goes to a ball that's happening that night and woos the prince. And so the story actually starts off with the original Cinderella fairy tale, but the Cinderella is kind of like a bad person because of the parasitic magic or whatever. But that's only the prologue. And what the main chunk of the story is about is this girl named Ellie Payne, who is actually the one that made those glass slippers. And so at the beginning of the story, the prince is sending around the glass slipper for all of the ladies to try on. And when it comes to her house, she's like, oh my gosh, those are my slippers. I just made them and they got stolen from me last night. Thank you for finding them, whatever. And they're like, well, we need you to try it on because the prince has ordered that all of the eligible maidens need to try on the glass slipper to see if you're the one that he danced with last night. And she's like, okay, I didn't even go to the ball. Those are my slippers. They'll fit me because I made them. So don't be confused. And they're like, sorry, you have to try them on. That's the law or whatever. And she's like, fine, I'll try them on and you'll see that they fit me perfectly. And so she does. She tries them on and she's like, see? And they're like, well, sorry, you need to come with us because the decree is that if this fits any woman, then she is to be sent to the castle to marry the prince. So that's what that happens, and she figures out that the prince has actually enchanted the slippers so that any girl who tries them on and they fit will become his wife. They're instantly bonded into an engagement bond because he thinks that the only woman that's gonna fit the glass slippers is the one that he danced with and fell in love with the last night. So basically, neither of them want to get married to each other because the prince is like, hey, you're not the one I danced with, and Ellie's like, yeah, I just want to go open a glass shop and sell my beautiful slippers. So basically the whole book is them trying to get out of the engagement agreement. So it's really funny. I feel like this one reads more like a rom-com than the other ones in the series, so I really enjoyed it. The couple is so cute, and so I really enjoyed this one. I highly recommend. 4.5 stars for anyone out there who wants a cute fantasy rom-com. Okay, and then the one that took up most of the video that I filmed is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. I bought this as soon as it came out, the day that it got released, because I knew that if I didn't get it the day it was released, then they would just be sold out everywhere. And I have a lot of thoughts, so if you want to know my fleshed out thoughts, I have a whole spoiler section at the end of the video that I filmed this with, so go watch that if you want my spoiler thoughts. But my non-spoiler thoughts is I gave it 4 stars. I liked it pretty much the same as I liked the first book, which is interesting because since this has been circulating a little bit and I've seen a few reading vlogs and people's thoughts, it seems like they don't like it as much as the first one, and I feel like they kind of went through what I went through when I read the first one, which is it's so hyped up. Everyone says it'll be the best series of the year, all this stuff. And so when I read Fourth Wing, I was a little bit disappointed because I didn't love it so much. I still gave it 4 stars. I still really enjoyed it, but it wasn't what everyone kind of chalked it up to be. And so I feel like everyone went into this one with as much hype as I went into the first one with, and they were all just like, I mean, it's good. It's not it doesn't knock my socks off. And so I gave this one a 4 stars as well. Yeah, I can't really talk about the plot without spoiling spoiling the first book, but basically it's about a college where this girl Violet learns how to ride dragons and fight and stuff like that, and it's pretty good. So that's Iron Flame. I know I didn't talk about it so much, but if you really want to know my thoughts, then you can go watch that other vlog. Okay, and then the third book that I finished for that one is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I felt like it was just a short, fun one that I could tag on to the end of the vlog because I only had like a couple days left, I think, by the time I started this. Yeah, so this one is about a bunch of kids that kind of form a team. They all have some kind of really cool, it's not really a superpower, it's just kind of like a cool mental ability. Like one person can tell when anyone's lying, one person can read emotions really well, just things like that, and they have been formed as a group by the FBI to solve cold cases, and that is the basic premise of the beginning. And we're specifically following this girl named Cassie, who's very good at profiling people. She's able to look at people and like know what they like, what life trauma they've been through, and just random stuff like that. So yeah, it's a really fun one. I highly recommend. I gave it 4 stars. I usually don't rate books that aren't fantasy much higher than a 4-star because I just feel like fantasy is so my cup of tea. Like, it's just, I love the whole world building aspect and how epic and grandiose it can get, and you just can't really get that with a thriller. So that's why it's not higher than a 4-star, but as a thriller and as like a book genre that I don't usually go for, it is very good. It is very good, so I would highly recommend it. It's also a series where you get to follow the characters around. And I will say I do like this more than your ordinary Joe thriller because of all the character work that goes on in this. And I know there is usually character work to some degree in most thrillers, but I feel like this one is so much better because you're specifically following like a team of people, and it's a series, so you get to see more of them throughout the series. So yeah, that's why I gave this one 4 stars. Okay, and then the next big old chunk that I'm gonna talk about is I read the entire Shatter Me series this month. I actually just finished Imagine Me, and it's already December, but just like, we're not gonna talk about that. I'm gonna talk about it now because it'd just be so unsatisfying to not have the complete series. So this series is 5 books, but when you include the novellas, it's actually 10. Did I say 5 books? I meant 6. 6 books plus the 4 novellas, so that's 10. Okay, so my thoughts on this series. I will go through what I rated each book individually in case you're curious. I gave Shatter Me 4.5 stars. I gave Unravel Me 3.5 stars. And I also gave Ignite Me 3.5 stars. And then I gave Restore Me 4 stars, Defy Me 4.5, and then Imagine Me 4 stars. So if you can tell by those readings, I actually really like the last 3 books of the series better than the original trilogy, which I think is kind of an unpopular opinion. I'm not totally sure, but yeah, so my just overall spoiler-free thoughts on this. Well, actually first, I think I'll give just like in case you don't know the premise of this super popular series, I can just go into that real quick. Basically, we're following this girl named Juliet who is in this dystopian world where pretty much everything is broken down and ruined because like the climate change basically ruined everything. They like killed all the animals and all the birds and stuff, and the sky is a different color now, like all this stuff, which I actually love. I actually really like settings that are like that. And she has this ability, with anyone touches her, she basically like drains their life, and if she touches them for too long, they'll die. So she can't touch anyone skin to skin, and because of that, she has been taken captive by the new government that has been put in place called the Reestablishment, and she's now like in an asylum, and that is where the story opens up. There's kind of a love triangle in this book. There's like X-Men type stuff going on, so yeah, I really liked this overall series. I did like the second half better. I believe she wrote the original 3 first, and then she added on the other 3 later in life. I don't really know, but I do like the second half better, if that is any incentive for you. I still really enjoyed the original trilogy, but I felt like the ending just was not it. Like, I didn't love the ending, and so that's why I really wanted to get into the second half, and I'm so glad I did because I like it so much better. I really liked it. So I felt like there was just so much needed character development and plot points that I don't know how the series could be complete without them. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. Those are my overall thoughts on the Shatter Me series, but if you want to know more in detail, I did film 2 separate vlogs, one doing the first part and second doing the last 3 books. So if you are interested, I think the second part is going to be up soon, so you can go watch part 1. Part 2 will be out very soon, hopefully, and I think with that, that is my wrap up for the month. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what you think of all the books that I brought up. I know this one is a bit shorter of a video because I read like an entire series, so that doesn't take very long to talk about, but yeah guys, let me know all your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you read this month, what you hated, what you loved, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye y'all!